All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is in the cosmos, whenever this is finding you. Welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. Let me know how the audio is doing today. Today we're going to be doing the Virgo zodiac reading. I've been putting it off for a while because I really wanted to pre-record the video like I used to do all my zodiac readings, and I would like to do that in the future, but I felt like my attachment to doing it in a particular way was kind of stopping up the energy and keeping this from coming through the way that it needed to. And I thought that that was funny because I don't know if you were on the community page and got to see this anchor card here, but within it, it said there are 3 common energies here for these 6 piles with 9 cards in each of them. And the 3 common energies were the Vestal Virgins, Mars in Virgo, and Chiron in Virgo. And the Mars in Virgo energy is about routine, being inspiring and energizing and supportive to you. It may not be that you literally have Mars in Virgo, but there's something about that theme for you personally, for this period of your life, whatever, where routine is supportive and energizing and helpful for you. And Chiron in Virgo with the perfectionism wound theme. So this is so much all about how we hold ourselves back from moving forward and doing things that would be supportive, that would be energizing, that would be useful, that would be helpful to us in some way because of this Chiron and Virgo energy. Whether or not you literally have Chiron and Virgo, if you're resonating with this message, you struggle with some type of perfectionism wound. And so when you have this perfectionism wound and this energy of how routine is supportive and energizing and useful and helpful for you, the thing that you really need to do is learn how to move and go and move forward regardless of whether or not it's perfect, whether or not you have everything exactly in place, whether or not things work out exactly how you planned or envisioned or saw it happening, right? So there is this very appropriate energy going on right now. And as I was setting up for this today, I realized that we have this painting right here out on my altar for whatever reason. This is called Virgo's Insemination, and I have it dated right here for September. Wait, August? August 23rd, 2023. So August 23rd, 2023 may be significant for you. There may be some kind of like cycle closing up, closing out, completing for you. Yeah, and there may just be some download in that painting for some of y'all. I will put that up later so y'all can take a look. But as I was saying, for the common energy for all of these 6 piles that we have for the Virgo zodiac reading is kind of a pick-a-card reading. It's very interesting. It seems like a very Virgo thing. We had sweetness, 6 of wands, 6 of cups, purple, 369, and these 3 energies are the Vestal Virgins, the Mars in Virgo, and the Chiron in Virgo energy. And the Vestal Virgins energy The energy of the sacred flame is, well, I thought I knew a little bit about it, but I wanted to, double check. And so when I was digging into this concept, um, a lot of stuff that I was reading said the Vestal Virgins were 6 priestesses. We have 6 piles here today, right? In ancient Rome, who tended the sacred flame of Vesta, which is also a planet, I believe, that people use in astrology, the goddess of the hearth, and maintained Rome's spiritual security for 30 years. They were chosen as children, enjoyed unique legal rights and privileges, and faced severe punishment, including live burial, for breaking their vow of chastity. So this is very much about like where you put your life force energy, and whether you are putting that life force energy towards something that is truly in alignment with your dharma, or whether you are having your life force energy siphoned and utilized for the goals and the aims of some kind of greater organization, identity group, institution, etc. So these are the common themes here, is the fire in your chest and where you put it, and the hesitation to do anything with it at all because of the fear of failure and a lack of perfection, but the knowledge that if you don't move forward in fear of imperfections, that you will feel stuck and you will feel depressed and you will feel ungrounded and you will feel uninspired, and it will just, in your fear of creating problems, you will create more problems. And so you probably have come to understand that in order to address this perfectionism wound, you have to just move forward. You just have to move forward before you're ready. You have to start before you're ready, as they say. Hey, if anybody has any real, genuine, respectful questions, I will do it. Oh, I see here. I'm just gonna block those. Cool. All right. So, for everybody that is here for the Virgo zodiac reading here today, we had a couple of random confirmations. I kept hearing being burnt alive is horrible, but if you survive, you grow a new skin. It's just interesting considering the Vestal Virgins were sometimes literally buried underground. It's like a very similar energy of rebirth, but sometimes it's like forced upon you by external circumstances and forces. That's never any fun. But yeah, so these confirmations that we have in the way of numbers are 30, 31, 33, 34, 43, something about mirrored numbers, 37, 44, 11, 11, 1115, and 1151. Also, Deadpool, Anna, Richard, Nicholas, Xavier, Ezekiel, Rose, Raven, the name or the bird, perhaps? Birds in general, black cat, raccoon, hot rain, purple sweet potato, Prince, the artist, purples, pinks, oranges in the skies, in sunsets, in sunrises, or for other reasons, orbs, dog, fire, horse, peanut soup, Sophia Isela, the artist, orchids, gelato, past lives, trees, especially oak, pine, or cherry wood, the blue flame, violet, electric lemonade, butterfly pea flowers, and then we also had when in Rome and priest slash priestess, which is so interesting because the priestesses that were the Vestal Virgins in Rome, maintained Rome's spiritual security for 30 years. So because it says when in Rome, this is very much giving me the energy of when you are in Rome, you do what the Romans do, right? And so, and also the Vestal Virgins were chosen as children. So it's like people trying to get in at the ground floor and direct and manipulate your energy into a certain pathway for some reason that serves their best interest, right? And you may be given special rights and privileges and opportunities and you know, gifts and things that motivate you to serve, to show loyalty to this institution, whatever it happens to be, and put yourself, like, to take a vow of loyalty, to give all of your life force energy to this, to the security, the spiritual security of something outside of themselves, right? And I mean, theoretically, they were Romans, and so they were like tending to their own security in a way, if that's a part of their identity. So it can get kind of fuzzy. And there are 6 piles here, so it's going to manifest a little bit different for everybody, right? So we're going to get into what all that means exactly. I don't have any crystals or identifiers for the cards. It's just like 1 through 6. And because we got this purple for the Virgo, just the colors, the chakras, like the 6 senses, you know? So this first pile that we're getting into here is associated more or less with the root chakra. And what we got here was sword. And we got Ace of Swords in the recent past. Wow. Justice. And 2 of Cups. Aww. Okay. And then for the Angel and Demon card, we got Fountain of Wisdom, Dhammabaya. And in the reverse, it says Unhappy Voyages. Okay. Fountain of Wisdom. Oh, that's so interesting too, because we have the water and the air. Fountain of Wisdom. Attracting wounded partners. Unhealed self, trauma bond, mirror effect. We got La Maceta, which I'm actually not 100% sure on the Spanish-English translation. Let me know if you are aware. But there's something about like a potted plant or a flower. Something about greens and pinks. Let me know what you think. And then we also have the 4 of Cups here. And on this card, there are some confirmations for water signs, for Cancer, for, what does this say? Form, completeness, foundations, progress, power, stability. Meditation, contemplation, apathy, reevaluation, disconnected. Okay. And then we have 7 of Wands from the Light Seers Tarot deck. So this card, the 7 of Wands, is all about like standing your ground, holding your ground. She's in her little protective bubble right here, and everybody's trying to poke at her. You see? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Let me fix all of the verbally abusive people in the comments section. Sorry about that, guys. Hello. All right. So we got a need to stand your ground, a need to protect your peace is kind of what I'm really getting from this card from this deck. A need to protect your peace. A need to protect your peace. A need to protect your peace. Right? And that is the fountain of wisdom that you're coming to. Oh, when you water your flowers, when you water yourself, when you water yourself as a flower that is potted, that can be picked up and taken anywhere and replanted closer to a fountain of wisdom, you can address this wounded partner's energy that you keep drawing in. You can address, well, let's see, it says meditation, contemplation, apathy, right? Well, she's in meditation, she's in contemplation, but she's not apathetic. She's not apathetic. She's holding her ground, right? And that implies that she has, she's not in a seeking space, in this like disconnected reevaluation space. She's already done the reevaluation, right? You've already done this reevaluation. And because you know where you're at now, that is why you are holding your ground. And what is it that you contemplated, and what is it that you are holding your ground in regards to? I mean, very clearly, because we have Ace of Swords in the past, Justice in the present, and Two of Cups in the future, connected to the attracting wounded partners card, unhealed self, trauma bond, mirror effect. I would say that if you picked this group, if you're resonating with this group, that your energy has been heavily focused recently on the patterns that you have in relationships, where they come from, and by doing that shadow work, by sitting in that contemplation, by giving yourself that space to sit in your fountain of wisdom, you were given a clear message. You were given a clear insight. And I don't know specifically what your partner wounds are, because this is a collective reading and it will be, for a lot of different kinds of people in relationship, a lot of different kinds of attachment styles and a lot of different past traumas. But because you sat in that contemplation, you received the message that you needed to enact this justice. And all you're doing in enacting this justice is knowing now your needs, your boundaries, your hard lines. And you're regaining balance. You're reestablishing balance in your life. You're reestablishing balance in your life by maintaining this mental clarity around what it is that you want and need, and who you are, and what you need to do to protect that. And you yourself, in co-creation with spirit, are protecting yourself, are maintaining this position of balance, of fairness, of righteousness, in alignment with this insight that you've seen recently. So it may or may not be a fun process, but the fact of the matter is you know what needs to be done. So this is the Ace of Swords. God came down and handed you this sword, handed you this insight, and this is you. You are being empowered to be an instrument of justice, and God gave you this sword, and you're making sure that you are utilizing it in a balanced way, in a fair way. And you've been gifted this sword because you have proven yourself capable of that type of balanced perspective. You could totally lose that at any time, and there will be consequences for that. But in the present moment, you know where you're going, you know who you are, you know the mistakes that you made, more or less, and you're using all of this wisdom that you have gained here to create a new fountain of of life force, of generation, of new love. You are creating the way for new love to manifest in your near future by cutting away things that are hindering that process, by cutting away patterns and attractions that are distracting you and keeping you trapped in spaces and places where this balanced, reciprocal, loving connection energy is is hindered, is not possible. Yeah, so you're bushwhacking. God gave you the sword to go bushwhack, and when you bushwhack, you get thorns in your side, and you get dirty and hot and sweaty. It's hard. It's not fun. But at the end of it, you have like a pathway and a place to connect and a pathway towards this fountain of wisdom so that you can repot or replant yourself in a new set of patterns and a new environment, a new circumstance that is going to support a new cycle here. A new cycle around one-on-one relationships, around partnership, around love. There's a lot of like heartbreak energy in this card. And so it makes sense that you could have felt heavy, but when we are forced into a space of depression, it's usually because we need to contemplate something that we're resisting contemplating. And so we're forced into the position to have to sit with ourselves. And sometimes people will still resist after that. But you were given an opportunity in the recent past where you chose not to. You chose the hard thing. And that hasn't always been the case in your past, but that has made all of the difference in the present. So in this second pile, actually I'm going to clear the energy a little bit in between each one. So if you have any sound sensitivities, please be mindful, cover your ears. And so we had from the Light Seers here the Four of Pentacles. We had Crystal. We had the Tower in the recent past. The Nine of Pentacles in the present. The Death card in the future. We also got Sihaya, longevity. In the reverse, it says catastrophe and haste. Okay, in the shadow, we got know-it-all, overcompensation, defensiveness, ego shield. We got El Diablito, little devil. Is that what that is? Because there's the big devil, But you can be the little devil. You can become the little devil. Ace of Wands. This is what one girl that I know lovingly calls the boner card. It could be in relation to a lot of different things, but just because we have El Diablito and the know-it-all card and death and the tower and Four of Pentacles and crystal, I don't know. I feel like there's something a little bit more intense here. Delays, lack of motivation, lack of energy, lack of passion, weighed down, boredom, and then new project, inspiration, urge to create, willpower, desire, power, potential, beginnings, new opportunities, growth. Know it all. Yeah. So in the recent past, you had something really intense going on, something unexpected, a shock to your system, a conflict in the language of German New Medicine. Something got burned down. Something got knocked down. Something had a poor foundation. You were holding on to this unstable foundation very tightly, you know? You're holding on to this unstable foundation very, very tightly. But when it was forced to come tumbling down in one way or another, you actually came to realize that you fell down and that's what you looked like. You were Nine of Pentacles. You were Gucci. Like, everybody's falling out of this tower, jumping out of this tower like it's the end of the world. But when you got out of this tower with this unstable foundation, you found this like peace, stability, serenity, self-sufficiency, like abundance, joy. You're safe and protected and you have everything that you need. And so it's almost like in this present moment position, living this experience is proving to you and showing you how unstable this foundation that you were holding on tightly to really was. And you were probably holding on to it so tightly in the past that you couldn't even see yourself. You couldn't even see where you really were. It's like you felt like you were stuck or you were broken or there was something wrong with you, that you were lacking in some way. But it was the structure that you were within. It was the unstable foundation that was shaky, that was inadequate. You were never inadequate. And so once that broke, then you weren't distorted and distracted and confused, seeing yourself through the tower anymore. Now it's just you, and there's no buildings around. And so everything has a stable structure, a stable foundation. It's the earth. Everything's got roots. Everything's got a massive evolutionary history that has allowed it to develop an unshakable foundation and keep the memory of that within its DNA and continue to reproduce itself intelligently, amazingly. And so I'm feeling this like warmth in your chest, and it's like this settling into a feeling of comfort, and it's more than comfort. It's like what people are after when they dream of and think of and imagine being wealthy. It's this ease, it's this flow, and you're realizing how much flow you really contain within you. And it's not even feeding your ego so much at this point. It's like this calm, quiet confidence as somebody that is resting after a really intense, unexpected storm, right? You have everything taken out of you. It's like when you work out really, 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 really hard and you lay in bed and you're like, I'm not tired. I don't feel good and high on endorphins. I don't feel sore and in pain. I don't think this or think that. I'm not like frustrated or overwhelmed or over it or tired or sad. I'm not anything. I'm just empty, but in a good way. It's like the emptiness of Shiva. It's like that post, how do I say that? You know, when a guy comes, there's got to be some not bannable words for that. I guess that's why they invented that term, right? So that's where you're at right now. You're wasted. Like the video game, not like at a bar. And you're wasted in a way where you've already proven your worth and your capability and your stability to yourself and everything around you. So it's not like you are attempting to convince yourself of anything anymore. That tower's gone. You feel the truth, you see the truth, you know the truth, you experience the truth. You're not looking at things up from up here. Like you're grounded in reality. There is no structure to hide within. There are no buildings here. You live in your outdoor living room with your bird and your grapes, and you're just chilling, eating grapes with your feet in the ground, like the most grounded, electrically balanced, like vitamin D infused, bird song, nervous system calmed place possible. You're in such a good place. So that may make you feel a little bit weird or unsettled about this future card, right? Sometimes people don't quite see the benefit in this one here. But really this card is about rebirth and change and starting over. So it's like, yes, you went through an experience where you realized that something was not ever going to work, basically, because it had a faulty foundation. And you are in such a place of peace and serenity and abundance and security and stability right now that you could just stay here forever and you'd be fine with it. But it's kind of like you need to also learn how to be a little less serious. Yeah. These are kind of extremes, right? Super unstable, super, super stable. And that's good. That's balancing out from the past. It needs to happen. But this is just kind of an eye on the long game, on the long-term situation. And you are going to need to learn how to create some balance and how to prepare yourself or be prepared by life in some way to live through and expect and have your nervous system kind of attuned to a more boring energy, a less extreme energy. So, yeah, you had a crazy intense experience in the recent past. You're really living it up right now and enjoying what you have. But don't get cocky and don't get up in your ego and don't get disassociated and numb and detached because of all the trauma and now all the ease that you have. It would be easy to be like, okay, whew, I knocked that one out of the park. I'm done. We're good. We're good to go. I'm just going to skate through the rest of my life. This is kind of telling you, no, that's not how it works. Sorry. There will be challenges. There will be struggles. They will be things that you will learn from, though, right? Yeah. In the past, with this Tower card, the crystal kept coming up. I feel like there may be something about the Dark Crystal, the movie, for some of y'all themes or just a confirmation. But I'm also getting that there may be something about substances here for a lot of people in this particular collective. There may have been some kind of unstable foundation where you were previously due to substances in one way or another. And this transformation that you are walking into is the transformation of developing longevity and creating patterns that have longevity, as opposed to catastrophe and haste, right? This is haste to get the heck out of here, catastrophe inherent in here. And this is haste in securing and maintaining what you have here, and memory of the catastrophe of before, and kind of holding on to an attachment, right? You were holding on to and attached to this unstable foundation, but then when that fell, it's like now you have to learn not to hold on to and be overly attached to this stability and this ease and this abundance. The problem is not the tower. The problem is not the chaos and the catastrophe. The problem is the holding on. The problem is the attachment. The problem is the haste, the urgency to avert catastrophe, avoid catastrophe, secure non-catastrophe. You really want something. You really wanted something. And it's almost like now you have that thing that you really wanted, but in an entirely different way than you were trying to go about it, which is a beautiful blessing in disguise and a type of ego death. But you may have a tendency to, like, when things are going good, fall into this energy, unfortunately. Into this attachment, into this obsession, into this know-it-all energy, into this ego, into this defensiveness, into this overcompensation. You are trying, and it's funny, the color schemes for these two cards are very similar. So it's not like a big devil, but it is a little devil involved in this card. And this card's usually seen as a pretty positive thing. But it's like, yes, it's beautiful. Enjoy it, integrate it, utilize it. But stay mindful of the fact that you also have a little devil on your shoulder whenever you're in a situation like this. And this may or may not be the first time you've ever felt this type of energy before. So it may be even more disorienting and hard to maintain your humility and your openness. And openness and non-attachment are what are going to give you that longevity that you're looking for, right? So I think that this death energy is going to come through in the near future through a new project, through an urge to create, through a new beginning, through a new opportunity, through growth. So it may look dark and scary, but it's more just challenging. It's more just going to take something from you. It's going to ask something of you. And that's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing. So a very challenging, gritty energy here, despite the fact that you're in this golden sunshine era right now. This is just spirit giving you a heads up that you would benefit very much from You would benefit very much from an awareness of and kind of like a mentally preparing yourself for these next steps, not getting overly attached, not allowing yourself to be like, oh, because I have all this ease and all this abundance and all this good stuff, then I figured it out and everybody should come to me and I should be able to tell everybody how to do everything for themselves, like I've got all the answers, right? Yeah. So enjoy, appreciate, experience that ease and abundance and light. Experience it, appreciate it, while still remembering to not remain overly attached. And you will be able to bring a lot of the positives with you from this energy that you're in currently, but you're not going to be able to take everything with you. So, in order to make sure that you take the things that are going to be the most beneficial to you, you need to start doing that work now and kind of deciding what are my priorities, and if I have to give up something, if I have to pour in something, what is it that I'm willing to sacrifice? So you're not caught off guard in the moment and like make the wrong choice, so to speak. Before we do this third pile associated with the solar plexus chakra, I am going to ring the sound bowl. So if you have any kind of sensitivities, this is your warning. Cool. So in this pile, the Light Seers Tarot that we got was 8 of Cups. This is a card of like walking away from something burning. In that last pile, you were forced out of something that was burning, but this is like a lot more intentional. $999, the Hanged Man in the recent past. Yeah, this is very intentional because you took the time to consider. It wasn't just that you were so attached to the foundation and you wouldn't see it for what it was, and then you were forced to fall down. It's more like it couldn't fall down. It's just in this metal bowl on the water, even. Nothing terrible is really going to happen because a metal bowl full of fire is sitting in the ocean. But if you're inside of the bowl, you can tell yourself that all day that it's safe, but it's not really safe if you're inside of the bowl and you're burning. So she had to like get up out of this little boat, out of this burning boat. But she wasn't just going to do that and go from the water to the land overnight. She had to consider her situation, what was really going on. So you started contemplating, you started opening your eyes to something. And here we have the 3 of Cups in the present position. So it's like you are engaging in some kind of community, you're experiencing some kind of connection, you're engaging in some types of relationships, and it's like you're going through the motions. It's like you're not isolating and hiding yourself away entirely. Maybe you were a little bit more in the past, but right now it's like you're taking those insights and those questions that you developed in your cave, in your space, in your time alone, in your isolation, in your hermitage, and you're taking those insights out into the world and observing and kind of piecing things together in a new way and staying open to it and like kind of having fun and being open and not attached to certain ideas. You don't want to take whatever delusion you may have created in your hermitage and project it all over what you're seeing, but you also want to utilize the genuine insights that you have to make sure that you're moving differently than you have in the past when it comes to community and connection. And if you continue to move like this without the urgency and the haste, with the openness, with the observant energy, without the need to attack or run away from these people and situations and patterns that you may or may not like, you're going to get really, really clear, and you're going to be able to tell them. You're going to be able to cut things out. You're going to be able to set boundaries. You're going to be able to speak your truth from a place that isn't reactive or emotionally manipulative. Yeah, right here she is looking away from all of this stuff in the past and the present. She is straight ahead, like we're ready to go. But it is because you have been taking your time in these observations and not moving in such haste that is going to allow you that kind of clarity and confidence to move forward in this Queen of Swords energy when you need to. When you need to walk away from something that you have decided for good is not for you anymore. So you're leaving the ocean. You're leaving an abundance of emotion, you know? You're getting a little bit more into your head in like a positive way. Maybe that's not natural to you, or you have some kind of like trauma in your past that makes you struggle with like trusting language and word energy. Maybe you've had like some manipulative communicators in your past or something, and you don't want to be like that person. So that's why it's even more important that you are fully centered and rooted and grounded in whatever this observation is, whatever this truth is, whatever this insight is that you have gained through mindfully observing the connections in the community around you. Yeah, success. You have success in your future. This is war and violence on the other side. So you are detecting currently an energy of war and violence of some nature or another within the community that you're in. And it is through acknowledging that and observing that and calling it out at some point in the future that you're going to find the success that you're looking for. There's also the number 44 on this card. That's been coming through a lot for people within this larger general collective for a while. So if that has been speaking to you lately, this may be an extra confirmation for this pile here. And so for this particular group, your shadow that you have been struggling with is perfectionism. And this is a general energy for all 6 piles, but it's especially pertinent for you here. And the pressure, the shame avoidance, the hypercriticism, this perfectionism wound is what led you to end up in a community that utilized your perfectionism wound against you, essentially. That put pressure on you and used your shame and self-criticism as puppet strings to get the responses and the reactions out of you that most benefited them. And the only way to really understand that is kind of to experience it in real time. So that's what you're doing right now. You're experiencing this war and violence energy, this manipulative energy, this predatory energy. And you're helping it teach you things so that you can move towards success in your future. So that you can be crowned La Corona. So that you can be crowned the Queen of Swords. so you can move into your direct and powerful communication era, which has probably been an issue because you have this perfectionism wound around communicating properly because you don't want to deal with the shame and the criticism and the pressure that people put on you because they sense that you put that on yourself. In transmuting and releasing this perfectionism wound and seeing what other people are doing as a external reflection of what you're doing internally allows you to see how you need to start talking to yourself differently, treating yourself differently, moving differently in your life. And as you have less tolerance for this Three of Cups energy of being swayed by external circumstance or external forces, external individuals, you just cannot, you can't allow it anymore. You allowed it before, you attracted it before because it's what you were. So you are changing who you are. You're changing your identity. You're working towards a new identity and a new relationship to the energy of communication. You're releasing your need to say the perfect thing, to do the right thing. And you're learning to just move with integrity and faith and putting your best foot forward, even knowing that you're probably going to fail a lot. And learning to accept that more and more and more. And in the past, and you may still struggle with this, but in the past, you were in this deadlock position. You were at a crossroads. You could feel that there was something off, but you weren't able to see it because to see it in other people, you had to see it in yourself first. So you ended up seeing it in yourself first because you chose to take the time. You chose to take the time to contemplate this ethereal, elusive feeling that you were having, and to calmly, mindfully observe in the real world so that you could learn. So that you could learn that nobody is perfect. And the people that try and leverage shame and criticism and pressure against you have no power over you. What's the labyrinth scene? I might post it after this. Yeah. You have no power over me. Okay. That is that. So you're walking away from a lack of clarity. You're walking away from this chaos. You're walking away from this weirdness, this fire floating on the water that doesn't even make sense. Where'd that come from? Why is that there? What is the point? What is going to happen to that ash once the fire burns out? It's not going to go feed the forest. It's just going to sit there. Why are we doing this? And now that you see the truth, you're walking towards the sun. Because you know better. And you always did. But you had to work through some of that shadow work to be able to be capable of doing that very simple thing. Of just moving towards your truth and moving away from chaotic, destructive, dramatic, toxic environments. Yeah. Definitely going to clear the energy here for this one. We're at almost an hour and we've got 3 more piles left, but I did do a long intro, so we probably have a little bit longer to go here. Who knows how long each one's going to turn out to be, though. It's the beauty of a pick-a-card. Especially a live pick-a-card. This is so nerve-wracking. This is so confronting to my perfectionism wounds. So this is helping to heal my Virgo stuff. And I felt like that was why I was being encouraged to do it this way, even though it's a lot. Okay, so after all of my blabbing, I'm going to have you close your eyes, take a deep breath, and tapping into this green energy, this energy of the heart. We got drain. That could go a couple different directions. In the recent past, we have the Knight of Cups. In the present position, we have the Two of Wands. In the future position, we have the Six of Swords. Ooh. Then we also have fertility and multiplicity, Omael. The reverse says fruitless labor. Okay. Acceptance isn't resignation. And this is a shadow work card. So this is kind of like a resistance to acceptance. A feeling that accepting your situation is like empowering it. Like resigning yourself to it. And you're being asked to not view it that way. Acceptance is not resignation. Acceptance is surrender. Acceptance is presence. Acceptance is inner peace. And that doesn't change whether things happen the way that you're resigned to or whether things happen the way that you're fighting for. You don't want to resign. You don't want to fight. We're finding this balance, this presence, this surrender, this inner peace. And that state benefits you, whether you need to lean more into fighting something or you need to lean more into ignoring something. It's useful no matter what situation or position you're in to come into a space of greater presence and inner peace. So if you have some sort of resistance to surrender, presence, inner peace, because you feel like there's something wrong in your life and you need to fix it, and so if you allow yourself to feel present, then it's like you're dishonoring your pain and your problems and your disharmony. It's like you're letting yourself down. It's like you're not protecting yourself. So you're being reminded, like, yes, you are protecting yourself through your presence and through your surrender. You are protecting yourself because the greatest threat to your success in moving through challenges is yourself. You're going to create most of the problems that keep you from getting where you want to go and where you're trying to go and where you need to go and where your dharma's at. La mano. That's interesting that it's a feminine, like a feminized word. La mano. Which makes sense because the hands, kind of like Gemini, they're connected to the heart. They're connected to your heart line. And this is the heart pile, right? Wow. Okay. And we also have 5 of Pentacles. Financial loss, lack of mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty. instability, exaggeration, overexertion, strife, change, freedom, loss. Taurus, earth signs. Yeah. Okay. So it's like you have this sense that something is wrong, that you are left out in the cold. And you want to validate the feeling of being left out in the cold by falling deeper into that feeling of fear, that feeling of wasting away, that feeling of brokenness, and yes, there are some pieces of your reality where that is the case, that is true. But basically what I'm getting is that is your primary obstacle right now, is allowing yourself to fall into kind of the self-pity energy in an attempt to validate your own experience. But you know your own experience. Those things don't need to be mutually exclusive. You can understand the reality of your situation without indulging in self-pity. It's an entirely different, separate matter. So you're being encouraged to take things into your own hands and to not only see and observe and acknowledge that self-pity is a choice and it's not helpful and it compounds things and it keeps you stuck, but that the hope for addressing that and turning things around is within your own hands here. And it's funny, in this card, this person has their hands turned up. Like, maybe you need to meditate and, like, literally put yourself into a position of surrender to help you to feel into this energy, to practice that. And really, yeah, I would encourage you, all of you in this group, to really prioritize sitting in meditation, in surrender, in presence, in developing that inner peace. This is the fruitful labor. There is a fruitless labor. That's kind of a mental labor, physical labor, worrying, right? Worrying is a fruitless labor. But there is fertility and multiplicity. There's growth. There's benefit. There's a fruitful labor here in sitting quietly, which a lot of people don't necessarily think of as labor, but it absolutely is. So there's labor in self-pity and worry, and there's labor in hope and like being future minded, being locked in on your vision. All of these things take energy. This one feels kind of like you're at the whim of the world. And so you're putting a lot of energy in and worrying a lot, but in a space where there's nothing you can do about it. That is a fruitless labor always. So if you want to start generating this fertility in your life, sit down and shut up and breathe through that self-pity and that fear and develop the muscle. That is a muscle you can develop. You can learn how to control the only thing that you can control, which is your own thought process. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Like building a muscle. You develop new skills and abilities when you sit with the truth of the pain and you take it into your own hands. There may be something about mantras and mudras Yeah. Mudras may be useful and supportive for you right now. And then we got drain. And in the past and the present, or sorry, in the past and the future position here, we have these two cards. The Six of Swords is a sword card, but it's them sailing on to calmer waters. They're on a boat, right? And this is the Knight of Cups. So we got water in the past, water in the future. In the present, we have this dude right here, and he is looking to the Knight of Cups in the past. This is not giving me the energy that you are hung up on the past necessarily. It's more like your future, the thing that you're looking forward to, isn't quite here yet. But in order to move forward, you have to you have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. You have to reflect on and remember this past. There's something hidden in your recent past that is a key to what your future holds. So what is the Knight of Cups? It's like an intuitive hit. It's like an emotional offer. This can be kind of like a Prince Charming energy. This can be a love offer. Yeah. So somebody or something brought you some kind of genuine and emotionally based, heartfelt expression. And maybe it was a confession. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe it was some kind of like watery, intuitive energy. Like maybe they just sent you a vibe. Maybe they sent you a dream. But there's something about somebody in your past that gave you this small offer, and you just sat there and you're like looking at it. You're looking into your past and being like, what was that about? You're seeing it in a new light. You're trying to look into your future, and as you look into your future, you're starting to realize what I'm looking at in my future has something to do with this offer, with this confession, with this communication, with this individual, with this intuitive download. Can I remember what that was about and what happened there? If I can remember what this was about and what happened there, I think I will have some keys to figure out how to move forward and how to get on this boat and move where I want to go, right? But we have 10 of Wands from the Lightseers deck. And in this card in this deck, it's interesting that she's kind of packed up on the back of this creature. And it looks like she's moving. And that's not usually what the 10 of Wands looks like in most decks. It is like a hard struggle. It is a lot of work. But it's not usually somebody moving from one place to another, clearly. Like, she has her bags, she's got her traveling boots, she's got her animal packed up with all her stuff. So that's very interesting. You're definitely moving on. You're moving forward. Right? But I think that this is referring to the fact that you feel like in a 10 of Wands energy right now. Like, it's exhausting to do this sitting and contemplating and sitting in surrender and presence and inner peace. And looking at this past situation, this interaction with this person that you feel like means so much, but you can't really like cerebrally break it down right now. And so you're having to slowly and steadily keep building it up, keep working on that muscle. Keep learning how to hold the fire of uncertainty. And as soon as you get that grip strength, however long it's going to take, it's going to look different for everybody because we're all at different stages and places in our lives. We're all, we all start with different decks of cards, but you're going to develop the grip strength and you're going to pull the plug. You're going to pull that drain. And everything that's felt like it's been so stuck and stopped up this whole time, it's going to move and shift and change so fast. And right now, you feel this Ten of Wands, exhaustion, overwhelm. Like, is it even worth it? Is it ever going to lead somewhere? We're at the end of the road here. Where is this road going? I'm so tired. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. But that's because your mind can't see where you're going. It is of an emotional nature. It is of a spiritual nature. It is of an intuitive nature. And so you can't force it and you can't control it. All you can do is feed into it. You water a plant, you water a tree, but you don't say like, I expect a ripe peach on this day at this time. If I water this much on this day, you just kind of sense it. You just kind of have general ideas. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, right? So keep moving forward with this blind faith and keep developing your grip strength and keep sitting in contemplation and developing that ability to sit in the unknown, developing the strength to sit in the unknown. And then you will know when it is time to pull that drain. You won't be able to hold yourself back. You will have been waiting for so long to do this, and you will be so entirely convinced and know in your bones and feel it in your bones that you were just practicing acceptance and you were not resigned to this situation and you had faith that it would change and you were open to that looking like whatever it needed to look like. So yes, you are tired right now with good reason. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. To be super corny about it, that is just the energy here. And I hope that that has been a useful reflection for you today. I'm going to clear the energy before we get into pile 5 here, so please be mindful of that and cover your ears and things if you need to. What do you mean? Like which star system? I'm from Central Texas, or that's where I'm filming from right now anyways. Hello, hello, how's it going? Oh my goodness. Do, 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 do. Thank you so much, Artie. Yeah, yeah, I would love to be able to be a more mindful moderator. It is a whole job unto itself. That's why a lot of times I won't even read the comments and stuff. So if I'm having issues, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm just gonna give that a minute because I am highly distractible today and we have a lot of piles to get into. So if you have something really important to communicate to me, maybe wait till the end just because of that situation. All right, so, ooh, I like this. We have Page of Cups on the base with the light seers for this pile 5. We got Scar. We got Wheel of Fortune in the recent past, followed by the World in the present position. I've never seen that happen ever. And followed by the Page of Wands. Page of Wands, Page of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, the World. Okay. And then we have Prosperity, 43. This is another one of those numbers from the confirmations. 43, 34, maybe significant. This is the Huelia, prosperity. And in the reverse, it is fall of empires. So I guess the reverse of fall of empires would be like the rise of a prosperous empire, right? And that is very in line here. Very in line here. There may be something about the Lion King here. There was Lion on the bottom of the deck when I pulled the index cards. And Scar could be related to a lot of things, but if it is related to the Lion King, then there was a fall of an empire there, right? There was a change of power. Like, there was a dark empire that took hold for a minute, right? So this is about a change. There was a change in the wind. Something major shifted recently for you. But it's like that was just the beginning. I'm pretty sure this is like the 10th card or something in the tarot. This is like the 20th, or this is like the last one. This is the end of the first half of the major arcana. This is the end of the second half of the major arcana. So this is progression of just massive change. This is like something big changed, and then it just kept going and kept intensifying and kept changing. And in the near future with the Page of Wands, that's like energy, inspiration, power. It's like some Martian energy. It's like getting things done. Prosperity. There is a big energy of building here. A big energy of building. Oh my goodness, and we have Page of Cups, when pigs fly. And Six of Cups, sweetness. Six of Cups, Six of Wands, remember from the anchor card? So this is fire and water. This is sweetness and success. Wow. Page of Cups, Six of Cups. And those together, Seven of Cups, like options, potentials. Okay, we got La Sandia, sweetness, abundance, growth, growth, fiery, juicy, intense, development, prosperity. Okay, and in your shadow, we have overreacting, flooded, panic, past echo. Oh. I'm getting some fearful, avoidant energy off of this spread right here. Meaning, there's so much good stuff here. There's clearly in the past, there was some kind of like false leader, some kind of tyrant, dictator, toxic energy of some sort. But it's a scar now. It's not even a scab. It's just like a memory, right? past echo. Your struggle right now is accepting all of this change, accepting all of this sweetness, accepting all of this positive energy. It's like your brain cannot process what is going on in your life right now without feeling panic, without feeling flooded with emotion, without feeling the other shoe about to drop, without feeling like this coconut or this watermelon is about to just fall right on your head. You know, too much of a good thing. That can't be right. That can't last. The world is not prosperity. The world is not sweetness. The world is not progression. The world is not innocence. The world is not nourishment. The world is not sweetness, abundance, goodness. You're overreacting to all of the blessings in your life right now because you have the memory of past pain and past traumatic experiences. But you are learning a new way. You are learning this innocence. You are learning this Page of Cups energy. You are learning to accept this when pigs fly energy. Yeah. You're learning how to accept it, and in the near future, you're going to learn how to like embody it and move it forward and add to it. Feeding the fire. You probably don't want to feed the fire right now. You're probably super overwhelmed. Like, what the heck is all of this growth and abundance and goodness and sweetness? Am I being punked right now? No. You are being gifted an opportunity to work through your shadow stuff right now. Because that is all you got to deal with right now. You've been juggling and spinning plates and putting out fires. But if you can change your mindset, if you can accept this energy of the things that make you feel like, yeah, when pigs fly, if you can accept that it's possible for you to move through the world in innocence and authenticity and a genuine energy and still have prosperity, still have abundance, still have love and connection and sweetness, joy. There are still happy memories to be made, not just to set you up for catastrophe and to learn contrast and stuff. You have learned a lot of contrast. You might need that in the future at some point, maybe. Maybe not. But right now, you don't need that. Right now, you have plenty on your plate to deal with just being confronted with all of the beautiful stuff in your life right now. I feel like if there's anybody that has been watching all of the piles, or they're just curious, or they're cross-watching or something, there's like some jealousy going on. So like, man, I wish that was my problems. But if this pile's resonating with you, you know there is nothing light and fuzzy and fun about this. This is extremely confronting and extremely painful and extremely triggering. So, F them. Like, whoever doesn't understand the struggle you're going through right now, that's okay. They will at some point, and they'll get it then. And right now, you got better things to worry about. That was so fun. Okay. Enjoy your beautiful, magical, fresh, shiny, abundant new world. And good luck in transmuting your shadow and allowing yourself to accept it. Learning how to become the person who's capable of receiving what you have knocking at your door right now. Oh. All right, close your ears if you need to. All right, this is the 6th pile. This one's associated with the color purple, with your third eye. I think I'm going to put on a bindi for this one. I just feel like it. If you weren't here at the beginning of the video, maybe take a look at this watercolor that came through a couple of years ago. In mid-August, it's going to be the 3-year anniversary of when I signed this watercolor painting. And it was given the name Virgo's Insemination. So this is kind of like something that started 3 years ago for a lot of you guys. Is coming full circle right now for some of you. On the bottom, on the base, we have the Page of Pentacles. And then we have Scarecrow. Queen of Wands in the recent past. Temperance in the present. 8 of Wands in the future. Then we also have Selaya, motivation. And in the reverse, this is extreme opposites or opposing factions. Extreme opposites or opposing factions. Yeah, there's something to this vine energy, something to this extreme opposites or opposing factions that's giving like triangulation. That's giving like emotional manipulation. It's giving like utilizing social dynamics to move people in certain directions, usually in a reactionary way, right? But true motivation is comes from like an energy of unity, comes from an energy of I'm not fighting evil, I'm just not even acknowledging it. Come over here and help me play this symphony. Come listen to my flutes. And I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to pull you up. This is like I'm going to flick you in a certain direction to get you to go there. And this is like I'm going to shine in the star or in the sky like a star in the hopes that you shoot for me. That you rise towards me. In the shadow, we have needs denial, self-neglect, resentment, and inner depletion. Needs denial. Do you really need it? Do you think you need it? Has it been useful for you in the past? Denial. El Pájaro? Is that how you say that? A bird? Is it a bird? I mean, it is a bird on the card. If you speak Spanish, feel free to let me know, though. There's a 20 on that card. May be relevant for some people. I do remember you. I'm glad that you were able to find us. I know you were asking when we were going to go live, and I wasn't very helpful in the response, but here we are together again. So we are doing a pick a card for the zodiac of Virgo. Take any or all of the piles, but it's just the structure that I was inspired to use today. And yeah, so with this third eye pile, we also have Ace of Cups at the end. And it says water, pioneering, leading, alpha, dominance, ambitions, originality, love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, marriage. Okay. Motivation. You in the recent past were in this Queen of Wands space. And Queen of Wands can be like a leader. She can be very optimistic. She can be very helpful. She can be very hopeful. She's very independent, so she doesn't like need a lot from other people, but she wants to serve people. And she's always like got her eye on the bright side, like the sunflower. But a negative, dark, twisted version of the Queen of Wands can be a little intense, can be a little socially manipulative, or can maybe give more of herself than she has to give. Like she's supposed to be independent. She's supposed to have boundaries so that she can maintain her fire. But it's like you were attached to this need for denial. It's like you needed to deny your Queen of Wands energy within yourself. As like this is your natural state. This is who you are in your soul. But for whatever reason, you felt the need to neglect yourself, to resent yourself, to deplete yourself, to turn yourself into a dying ember. It's giving the resentful martyr narcissist archetype. Resentful martyr narcissist archetype. Which card is my favorite? I don't know, man. There's a lot. I feel like right now my favorite card is Queen of Wands. For the last few months. It's a complicated one. Okay, so if this particular pile, if this is resonating for you, has to do with the resentful martyr narcissist archetype. This may be somebody that you're dealing with, of course, but I'm just going to read it like it's you because I got to pick one. We have the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, right? Man, there's something about the straw man. If you're from America and like you care about legal stuff and you know anything about what that means, that might be like a side message for you or a confirmation for you. But in regards to the Wizard of Oz angle, wasn't the Scarecrow the one without a heart? Or was he the one without a brain? We always have this issue. I need to write it on the card next time. Because I'm pretty sure that it was the Tin Man that didn't have a heart. But I could be wrong about that. Am I going to look it up right now? I have to. I can. And we're not going to do another reading where I'm just like, dur, dur, dur. I'm going to take this into my own hands. Oh, if it's possible. If this computer is even on right now. Scarecrow. What were you missing? Give me just a second here, guys. Let me get my Google open or whatever search browser you would like. Okay, the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. In his first appearance, the Scarecrow reveals that he lacks a brain and desires above all else to have one. In reality, he is only 2 days old and just merely doesn't know any better. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So it's like you thought that because you were moving with all this self-neglect and this resentment and this depletion of yourself, once you saw that you were a dying ember, once you saw what you were doing to yourself, once you saw this resentful martyr narcissist archetype expressing itself within you, you probably got even more into this self-neglect and resentment and depletion pattern that you were already in, got really down on yourself. Like, do I have a brain? Like, why was I doing that? Why was I moving like that? I see it for the toxicity that it is. Why did I do that? But you're being urged right now to acknowledge that you just simply were not matured, not evolved, not at that part in the process. Like you just didn't know any better. You were just reacting and responding to the people and the forces around you. There may have been people around you that taught you this behavior or like that encouraged you in directing neglect and resentment towards yourself and depleting yourself. Somebody may have needed you to remain in denial about what you were doing and how you were moving. Why? It doesn't really matter. There's nothing on the table about that. It doesn't matter. You didn't know better, and now you do. And now you see clearly. And now that you see clearly, you're coming into this temperance energy. This is a Sagittarius card too. Ooh. You're coming into a space of healing, a space of not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, of seeing the beauty and the gold in your shadow, of seeing all of the goodness that has to do with your generosity and with your leadership and with your service, and seeing the good in the things that you were overdoing and overextending, finding those limits, setting those boundaries, finding a sustainable way to keep this fire going so that you don't die out like a depleted ember. Because you got real close there, but now you have the motivation, not of these people or aspects of yourself that need you to remain in denial. and that need you to remain in self-sabotage out of, reactivity, out of fear, out of these dense, dark emotions, moving out of that extreme opposite, moving out of those opposing factions, moving out of that duality, and being inspired to move in a more balanced way. And as you learn how to continue serving and continue shining and continue magnetizing and continue warming and continue feeding life and inspiration and fun and hope and goodness into the people, places, and things around you, while keeping that balanced with the way that you approach yourself, you're going to receive insight. You're going to receive fast incoming messages. You're going to receive a new kind of fire. You're going to receive these messages and you're going to share them. I feel like there's very few resentful, martyr, narcissist archetypes who move through this healing process and then share their experience with the world. And I wonder if there was more of that, if the people that are currently stuck in this self-neglect, in this resentment, in this pattern of depletion, in this martyr energy, if they would be more willing to see it for what it is, if they had some examples of people more like them, to know that there's hope. There's real motivation. Not just the motivation of fear and trying to run away from what you don't want, or trying to run towards the security that's going to protect you from what you don't want. It's not about what you don't want. You don't need to worry about that. Spirit will protect you from what you don't want if you move in inspiration, if you move in alignment. And that will become so clear to you. That yeah, you're going to speak. You're going to share. You're going to sing. You're going to communicate something about this process that you went through, this process that you slowly, steadily plotted your way through, patiently worked your way through, looked at yourself with such honesty in a way that's like painful and uncomfortable. But the fire of all of that has been transmutational to such a degree that you have developed a new mind, you have developed a new capacity to maintain your inner fire, to grow it, to protect it. And because you've developed this kind of self-sufficiency, like she's supposed to be independent and self-sufficient and stuff, but there's a difference between being independent and self-sufficient and being somebody who like puts themselves on the back burner and consistently like gets used to not having their needs met and just like puts themselves last in order to put everybody else first. There's something very different between someone who's balanced and independent and self-sufficient, sharing their overflowing energy with the world around them, and somebody moving from this lack space of like, I have to give everybody all of this or it's not enough. And I don't have enough, basically. I don't have enough for me. I don't have enough for them. If you don't put yourself first, then you don't learn what fullness and abundance feels like. And so you aren't able to attract more of it. And so you really don't have more to give other people. So then you choose to give what is yours, what is for you, to other people. And then you don't have what you need. And then you're like, what the heck, universe? God has forsaken me. No, you forsaked yourself. God gave you what you needed. You had what you needed. You just felt like you weren't good enough unless you gave what you had to somebody else. Something in you felt like you were selfish or bad or wrong for receiving and accepting what God handed you that was for you. And then you arrogantly turned around and tried to give it to somebody else in an attempt to gain their validation, their approval, and if you like loved seeing them happy or something, it was still self-motivated. And being able to look at that part of it can really help you to move forward quickly. And you might want to do that if you're in the fire. Again, being burnt alive is horrible. But if you survive, you grow a new skin. And what are you being inspired towards? Like what are you speaking on? What is this message that you're coming into when you balance your shadow? Love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, a new baby, proposal, marriage. So that may be very specific for just a couple of y'all. Yeah, if you are a Queen of Wands energy, if you are a resentful, martyr, narcissist archetype, I mean, you better not be getting into a marriage or making a baby or getting involved in a proposal. If you are willing and still practicing giving away God's gifts specifically designed for you to others in order to gain what you feel like you don't have. What you need is what you have already been gifted. What you need is not something from some person outside of yourself. And I feel like that's the essence of this reading for all of y'all entirely. Is you have what you need. You just need to learn to trust it. And you need to mostly learn to be yourself without guilt, to receive pleasure and attention and goodness and fire and inspiration, motivation, to feel like you deserve to receive any goodness, to receive a new mindset, a new conscious awareness. Yeah. This says needs denial. That is your shadow. You believe that you need to remain in this self-neglect, in this resentment, in this inner depletion, but you don't. It's a lie. Maybe the light or the gold in the shadow is that you are capable of denial. Like you're capable of flexibility. You're capable of questioning. You're capable of looking at things from different perspectives and stuff. And that can be useful and awesome. So utilize it the right way. Don't utilize it in this like gaslighting, self-sabotage way. You don't need to do that. You can, but you don't need to. So maybe don't, you know? Just a thought. Just my 2 cents and my opinion. But I don't think there's a whole lot that I need to do, that I need to say, that Spirit's gonna do or change. Like, you're in it. You always had what you needed. That's kind of the whole point, right? You always had what you needed. So this is the seed. And it's a long process to go from the seed to the fruit. But from the moment that you have the seed, you have the fruit. You just can't eat it yet. So you always had the seed. You still have the seed. Maybe pay some attention to what stage of development you're at in that. Do you need some water? Do you need some sunlight? Do you need to move a little this way, a little that way? But overall, I think that what's going to help you move forward in that and to build that motivation and to keep moving forward, it's just that knowledge that you already have everything that you need inside of you. You are the seed. You're just unfolding right now. There's a lot less pressure in unfolding than trying to fix something that's wrong. Nothing was wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There never was anything wrong with you. You have everything you need. God gave you everything that you need. People are denying things. You are denying things. People are betraying you. You are betraying yourself. But that's a whole separate thing, and you can deal with that. You can address that. But that has no bearing on the fact that you have everything you need and you always did. Yep, that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for being here today. 11155 on the clock right now. Woo! That was kind of a long one. I had a feeling it was a pick-a-card. It was a long one. I did a 2-hour reading on Sagittarius last time, so whatever. I hope that was useful for whoever it was meant to find. I will see you at the next reading. And I hope you have a beautiful night. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility.